So Kevin Holland and Derek Brunson just went at it for 5 rounds. And, very interesting fight. Very interesting fight all around. Very strange performance from Kevin Holland. Honestly, a little bit frustrating, especially while watching it live. It's a little bit frustrating to watch, because he showed he had the skill to probably get a win if his mindset was getting a win, And I don't want to trash the guy. I don't know him. I don't know like what he was thinking in that time. Obviously, he's in the cage, but man, he was doing a lot of talking, a lot of taunting, and when they were on the feet striking, he had the one step ahead of Brunson. He was clearly had the advantage in the striking. Every time they're striking, he's hurting them. He's landing with power, landing with speed, big right hands. Dropped him at one point, hurt him bad. Thought the fight was going to be stopped potentially, and I think that ended up turning into a takedown. Because even though he was having success on the feet, there would be points in time where he would be swinging very, very wildly, which at least, he was swinging with intent to finish the fight, and he could have finished the fight. So, maybe that's what he was going for, a finish and not a decision, but then at the same time, it's like, man, when he's swinging wildly like that, he leaves his hips available for Brunson, wrestler, and Brunson, I should have had the stat on hand how many takedowns he had, but I don't know exactly how many, but he was taking them down all night long, probably had at least 4 or 5 takedowns, and I just think that Holland could have prevented that, but not only the takedowns, but once he got put on his back, it did not seem like he intended on getting up. There was actually one point on where Brunson got up and Holland stayed on his back. Like, what was the point of that? I know he's confident in his ground game, especially, with Travis Lutter. He's got great jiu-jitsu. Even off his back, he was doing a lot of damage, a lot of elbows. But it's like, I think he even cut Brunson off his back. But maybe, I don't know where he cut Brunson, but he cut Brunson, I think, on the ground, maybe off his back. But it's like, no matter how much damage you do from your back, unless it's really significant, the judges are going to give that round to Brunson because he got the takedown and he's got the ground control time. And he's probably landing some strikes of his own too, even if they're slightly outnumbered. So it's like, you might be doing some damage, but you're not going to finish him with those strikes from the bottom unless you do something like he did. He was on his back right before he finished Jacare, but that was, you're not going to be able to replicate that, frequently. But it was just like, man, if he gives you the space to get up, why don't you get up when you were doing so much damage on the feet? Every time they were striking, it was clear he had the advantage, so it just didn't seem like he was trying to get the easiest path to victory. He was just going wherever the fight went, and he was fine with that. It didn't seem like he was really, I don't know, it didn't seem like he was like dying to win that fight. It was kind of strange. He's locking up a body triangle in full guard, like totally just staying there. Like, he spent a lot of time on his back, but the weird part was it's not like he was scrambling trying to get up at all. He was staying there trying to do damage. But like I said, I don't know, unless you're going for a submission or something, which he did threaten a triangle at one point, threaten an arm bar, but it's like, I don't know, you were doing so much damage on the feet. Why not go back to that where you were having so much success, Very strange, but, no disrespect to Brunson. He did what he had to do, went out there, secured all those takedowns, and Holland actually secured a takedown too. First time Brunson's been taken down in the UFC, and that guy's been in the UFC forever. So that's actually very impressive by Kevin Holland. And see, that's what I'm saying. He had some moments of great success, but it's like, just didn't seem like the intent to win was there. you know? And even then, that takedown was in the like the fifth round or something when he needed a finish, you know? So it was like, you know, you need great, you need a finish, so go for a submission or just try and get some vicious ground and pound or get back up because man, every time they were on the feet, he's landing big shots. Like you can finish him on the feet. But and then yeah, in the fifth round, they get up and there's 10 seconds left. Come on, you got 10 seconds to knock him out, and he spends 8 seconds taunting him, waving at him, walking away. And then he turns around and throws one last punch right before the bell. But it's like, dude, you had 10 seconds. Why not go unload real quick? Like, instead you're waving at him, you're about to lose. You know, it was just really, really a little bit frustrating to watch, you know? A little bit frustrating to watch for sure. But Brunson did what he had to do, and you know, even if Holland had a questionable performance, not his skill was there, but just very questionable as far as you know his intent. I don't know. It's very strange. Um, Brunson looked great though. You know, he was a little slow on the feet, but at the same time, Holland's fast. Holland's not even 185 pounds, so it's like that guy's probably a welterweight, and that's what he said. Holland said he wants to drop down to welterweight, 170. So, you know, it's probably not a fair speed comparison to compare 37-year-old Brunson to 28-year-old Holland, but you could definitely see the speed difference in striking. But Brunson's wrestling was there. Seemed like his gas tank was pretty much relatively there. He looked good. I'd like to see him in a fight against one of these top 5 guys because he's on a 4-fight win streak and he deserves it. He's got 2 young guns in a row. Same thing with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's got 2. He had Vicente Luque and then he had Jeff Neal recently, and then now he better get a top guy. I feel the same way about Brunson. He had Shabazian, he had Holland. Now he should get Paulo Costa, who he's asked for. I think that's a great matchup. Paulo Costa's fight just fell out with Robert Whitaker. I think it makes sense. But for some reason, I hesitate to believe that Paulo Costa will want to accept that fight. I think he should, but I hesitate to believe he will, and I don't know. I don't. Jared Cannonier's number 3. He's also available. I kind of foresee them probably more so looking at that one. Just, I don't know. I think Paulo Costa, you know, wants one of those top guys, and for some reason, I think the UFC will probably oblige, you know. Maybe Brunson could get the loser of Marvin Vettori and Darren Till, who's just in a few weeks. But, you know, I hope he gets that Paulo Costa matchup he's asking for. But regardless of who he gets, I know it should be a top guy, top 5, top 6 guy, because I believe a top 5 guy, you know. And then Holland said he wants to go down to 170, which is great and all. But, man, I don't think it's the weight difference that lost him this fight against Brunson. You know, it was his intent. I don't want to keep saying that he didn't have intent. That's just the word I'm using. You know, you could use a bunch of different words, but if you watch the fight, you know what I'm saying. Like, it just was weird. It was very weird. It didn't seem like it would have been like Habib striking with, you know what I mean? Like, Habib's not gonna strike with you, and Adesanya's not gonna. I mean, Adesanya did lay on his back against Blachowicz, kind of. So it was kind of like that, you know? It was kind of like Adesanya just laying on his back against Blachowicz. Just a little bit weird, you know? Adesanya might have been gassed. I don't want to talk about that fight, but, you know, it was a weird performance from Kevin Holland. And, you know, the weight change will definitely be beneficial for him. He will be a scary welterweight, I think. But I don't know, like, he's got to not have another performance like that, you know? He's not going to win fights like that, you know? Because if he's fighting on the other guy's terms, he's going to probably lose every time, you know? If you're like, if that was Habib in there and he's just, you know, I don't want to crap on the guy, but that's the thing. I don't feel like I'm crapping on him because he looked good. And I'm saying his skills look good. On the bottom, he was active. Very active on the bottom. One of the best bottom fighters I've seen, honestly, off his back. But it's like, at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing off your back, unless you're submitting him, you're not going to win the round, you know, unless you're just outstriking the dude by a tremendous amount, you know. But it's like the judges are gonna see him on top of you and give him that round, you know. And I just would like to see him take the easiest path to victory more often, you know. Which I'm not saying more often. He in his other fights he won his last 5 fights, but this fight I just feel like he was going wherever the fight went, and that was on Brunson's terms, you know. And even if he did more damage to Brunson, which he might have, Brunson came out with the victory, and rightfully so. You know, pretty clear victory. You know, so very strange performance. Holland called out Bilal Muhammad. I think that's a great matchup. You know, great matchup. I'd love to see that one. And that'd be a great gauge on where Holland can be in that welterweight division. Because Bilal went in there against, we saw only one round of him against Leon, but you know, he did lose that round. He got hurt with a head kick, but he looked good. I mean, it's not like he shouldn't have been in there. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see that fight, definitely. But I definitely hope in his next fight we see a more. He didn't look hungry to win to me. You know, it didn't look like he was hungry to get a win. You know, I don't know. Like I hate to say that because I really don't know. That's just what it looked like to me. I hate to sit here on the couch and criticize the guy. You know, but it's just like it was very weird, and it seemed like Brunson just wanted to win. It was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like he didn't have the necessarily the skill advantage in the striking, but he figured out how to put the fight on his terms, and he pretty much just did what he had to do to win. And Holland just let him. It seemed like, you know, it was a little bit strange. The rest of the card was pretty good, you know. Had Tai Tuivasa, great knockout by Tai Tuivasa. I believe his opponent came in on like 4 days notice, but you know, congrats to him. Get in there, get paid. You know, I think he got fight of the night too. So hey, great night for Tai. I bet he's, you know, stoked. And then there was a couple other good fights. Adrian Yanez, really nice knockout there. Oh, and the co-main event, awesome knockout in the co-main event. For some reason I'm blanking on his name right now, but really tremendous knockout in the co-main event. Max Griffin. Tremendous knockout from Max Griffin. I believe it was Max Griffin. If it's not, I apologize. But tremendous knockout in the co-main event. It's such a shame that Brad Riddell and Gregor Gillespie fell out. You know, I was really looking forward to that fight. That to me was like I saw that fight booked, and I was actually anticipating that fight for weeks. So I hope they keep that matchup and just rebook it, you know, hopefully. But yeah, it was a pretty great card, you know, for a card that didn't have too many big well-known names. It did have a lot of very impressive performances, you know. So great card all around. Great main event, you know. I mean, I don't want to say great, but nothing let me down, you know. It was a good card. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about Holland, Brunson, any other fight on the card, you know. And if you like this video, leave a like, you know, subscribe for more videos like this one. And thank you so much for watching.